On this trip, I'm going to a place called Church Stretton in the West Midlands, not that far away from Shrewsbury. I'm planning on going walking in a place called the Mynd, and also getting over to a place called the Stiper Stones, which is nearby. I did plan on staying for 2 nights, but in the end I only stayed for 1.
See up ahead where it's starting to open up, past the visitor centre and the main car park. It's quite busy still, but it won't be for long once I get off the main path. I'm walking towards a waterfall called Light Spout, so I'll get some pictures of that in a bit when I get there. It's starting to open up a little bit more, and you can see that's where the rocky patches are. In a minute there's a sort of rocky stair I've got to go up for a while. I don't think it's too much longer for the waterfall from here. As you can see, it doesn't take long to change to fairly wild ground. It's not very high at all, this. It's just got a very rugged kind of look to it. Very rugged ground now. Be careful. The rocks are quite slippy. That's where I've come from. You can see how narrow the valley is. It's quite hard ground, a little bit of scrabbling. So there in the distance you can see it. It widens out for a while, the valley, and then it narrows right down to a very rocky gorge there, as you can see. A bit further up and we'll be able to see the waterfall proper. There's where I've come from. I think that's Caradoc in the very distance, but I'm not 100%. There's the waterfall. It's not looking great. I've seen it look a lot better than that, but it's pretty dry up here. But there we are. We've got to go up that flight there. Quite steep ground to get up past it. But yeah, I've seen it look much better than that before. Been here quite a few times over the years, so. Getting close to the top of the valley now. Much more gentle there, a few rocks left. That's the steep bit over with. And then I'll be on the top of it. These aren't mountains or anything like that, it's just a kind of big moorland. I think the highest spot's about 510 metres, something like that. It's a real gem of a place. So far it's been quite quiet. Once I get up the top, I'm going to go to Polbank, and then I'll think about what I'm doing after that. Tiny little lamb and his mum. Gonna walk around and avoid the lake. Sort of pony, not sure which. As you can see, there's quite a few people coming up behind me. I'm heading up to the highest spot. I'm nearly at the top now, as you can make out. It's quite a flat topped expanse. There's not really any kind of hills that stand out much. Even though you are reasonably high up. It shouldn't be too long before we get to Polbank. I think there's a trig point there. Stop for a little bit. I wanted to put my gaiters on. It's got quite muddy underfoot. As you can see, good views down towards Church Stretton, which is at the bottom of that. That's Caradoc behind it. I'm not sure what that is in the very distance, to be honest. Lots of lambs about. But yeah. Get a move on and get up to Polbank now. Just don't want to get too muddy by not putting on the gaiters. We're pretty much right at the top now. As you can see, it's kind of more of a plateau than anything. There are a few sort of peaks over there in the distance. You can see Caradoc. But yeah, nice and quiet up here. Once you get away from the National Trust car park, it's not too busy really. Yeah, temperature's perfect as well. You can see there are roads that are across the moor. Kind of distracts from it a bit, but it's not usually busy. You can also see there's been a fire, there's been an accident, but also it could just as slightly be a deliberate burning. They do that on Dartmoor to help with the grazing. Got a bit sidetracked, but I think I'm back on my way now. Took a wrong turn in, so I've got to go back on myself. I don't know if you can make it out. Right in the distance there's a tiny little airfield. I think it mostly does glider stuff. But yeah, I've got to backtrack a bit.
This is footage from the top of Pole Bank. As you can see, it was quite busy up there and also quite windy. There's lots of good views of distant countryside from here. It wasn't a very hazy day, so you could see quite a long distance, thankfully. There is a trig point up here, and it does indicate what everything is. So on a good day, you can make out a lot of places from here.
Over there in the distance is the Stiper Stones. That's going to be where I'm going to be heading tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to be sort of meandering around. I have to be a bit careful about coming up here because you can see much more trustworthy just driving around. But it shouldn't be hard to find a nice little valley that no one uses. I'm going to head a bit closer towards the Stiper Stones area so that I haven't got too far to walk there in the morning, because I might walk there and then walk back all the way to Church Stratton. I'm not sure yet. Heading to the other side of the moors now. Again is where I came from, just slightly backtracking, but slightly different, yeah. Right, none of these hills are particularly high, they're only sort of anywhere from like 300 to 500 metres. Despite being quite low down, you have these really nice steep valleys, and it's actually quite dramatic in places for such low ground. Hopefully the Stiper Stones has got a similar kind of feel to it. It's not as big, but I've been meaning to get there for years. I've come to the Long Mynd about at least 5 times. I've just not made the effort to get there, and it's not really that far. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. I think I'm going to kind of think about stopping for something to eat in a little bit. I'm hungry. Found somewhere to sit down and have some lunch. Pretty quiet here. I'm away from where the main peak is. There's not so many people about. It seemed like a good enough spot to have lunch. It's quite dry up here, so I had to find somewhere that wasn't quite so dry. Again, I don't want to start a fire. For lunch, I'm having spicy noodles and boiled eggs. I've not long started keeping chickens, so they're for my own. Fairly risky first night dinner, I guess. Boiled egg and spicy noodles. I imagine it's going to keep the tent warm. But yeah, nice spot to stop for lunch. The weather's just right, a little bit of a breeze, but not too warm or anything like that. Really, really nice day so far. Finished my lunch. Now making a move. Kind of not on a path at the minute, gone a bit off piste. Sort of following chicken tracks. Sitting there. Starting to cool off a little bit. A bit more windy up here. Yeah, mooching along, as you can see. It's very flat, featureless. It's not a clear day and you haven't got a GPS or anything. It was not a lot of fun. It's not that big an area at all, really. It's very accessible, but on the whole it's nice and quiet, especially if you kind of stay off the main paths like I'm doing at the minute. It's nice just to have it to yourself, but the main thing I don't like is you've got all the roads crossing it, and you've got to be a bit more cautious about wild camping up here, I'd say, on average, because of all the roads. And like I said earlier, I've already seen National Park driving around, and they own all of this land up here, I believe, and they have a blanket no camping policy. But I'm going to be walking a fair old while yet. I need to get some water before long. Before I try and think about where I might stay. Anyway, catch up and get to somewhere a bit more interesting. Fairly big rock there. There's not that many of them to come in. I'm going off path this way, so it might be quite boggy for a bit. You can make out there in the very distance. Those are the Stiper Stones. That's my target for tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't just go as the crow flies, and there's quite a lot of farmland between here and there once you get off this bit of the moor. But yeah, they're not too far away. I'm just kind of meandering around in this bog, trying to find a stream of some description, and then I'm probably going to kind of scout around and see what's what. On the other side, further back, you've got quite steep valleys that are very, very subtle and easy to tuck yourself into, whereas this is more of one big flat expanse. But I'll see how I feel once I've got some water and what's going on a bit further down. This bit I'm walking through now is called the Wild Moor, and you can see why. Very, very featureless. There's no paths to speak of, sort of following the odd animal track, but it's absolutely covered in heather. I have been up here in sort of September and October, and the heather looks amazing that time of year. This time of year it's just a bit of a pain in the arse because you have to try and walk through it in spots, but vaguely following animal tracks to find a stream. But yeah, very, very featureless. Let's see why it's called wild. There's the Stiper stones again in the distance. I'll be moving away a little bit from them. It's not a great area over there. We'll have to go elsewhere to find somewhere to camp. Right in the distance there, you can make out Wales. Well, I couldn't name what mountains are what from this sort of distance, but you can see a good far distance today, considering it's a warm day. It's not like when I went up to Yorkshire and it was really, really hazy. But yeah, basically been spending the last hour or so walking through horrendous tussocky bogs and crap like that, so it's not been very exciting at the minute, but hopefully I'm going to find a nice valley and there's some running water soon. Some boggy mud pond, sort of what you want to drink if you can help it. Over there in the distance there's some hills in England. I wouldn't like to say what they are. I know you've got the Wrecking and some like that, but I've got no idea which is which in that direction. Some more stuff in the distance. I want to say that might be the Wrecking, but I don't know. It kind of looks a bit like a volcano. And that was possibly Caradoc again, I'm not 100%. It's been a long time since I've been here. I've never got over to most of those hills that you can see in the distance, so at some point that's on the to-do list. Definitely like the idea of doing the one that looks a bit like a volcano at some point. Just trying to find this nice valley now. There's a sort of bog pond here, so there's a stream down that valley, and that is the valley that has no sort of footpath through it, so I'm assuming not many people come this far. So I'm going to go down here and get some water. It also might end up being a potential place to find somewhere to pitch, but it does look very steep. It's very boggy so far, but we'll see. It's a little bit close to farms unfortunately, but you're never that far away from them unfortunately along Mynd. It's just not that big. There are these little valleys that don't really seem to have much footfall. I've used before, but I've never been this far up, so this is all new to me around this bit. And of course the sheep are lambing, so farmers are about, I imagine. Well, this is the start of the valley proper, long back. There's some stream there, so going a bit further down, hopefully there'll be somewhere easy to fill up my water bottle. Most of these paths look like they're more sheep paths than elephant. I don't think many people come this way, so I'm going to get a bit further down, because although it does look very steep sided, it does also look like there's a flat riverbed at the bottom. We'll see what it's like when we get down there, I suppose. I managed to find some water. Spring over there. Yeah, it was a right boggy nightmare getting down here. Looks like if I do want to go up, it looks like there's a path over there maybe. But yeah, I need to sort of see further down, see if there's a flat spot, I suppose, really. I'm going to sit here for a bit and try to eat. Well, there's an obvious footpath here. This isn't just for sheep. My plan was just to kind of go down the valley. But you can see it does look like there's going to be quite a lot of tricky boggy ground. I have seen the odd one. I mean, down there it looks like there's a flat spot. I imagine this gets much footfall. I'm going to go a little bit further down and see what the score is. And if not, I'll probably go up one of these. See if there's a flat spot up there that's out of sight. I mean, this is pretty quiet, but if someone was to come walking down this footpath and I was there, they'd see me. But it's still far too early to put a tent up or anything. I've just decided I'm not going to do a great deal more walking today. I never like doing too much on the first day. Tomorrow's going to be a long one, so take it nice and easy. Just spent a good hour sitting there enjoying the views. But yeah, well, we'll have a little recce, see what the score is, I think. I'm working my way down the valley, but it's staying pretty narrow and there's no flat spots. They're wet, so I don't know. I'm going to go a little bit further down, maybe to where those trees are, and see if I can see anything that looks good. And I'm going to turn around and come back up and probably get back up on the ridge. Wasted journey if that's the case, but just it's very boggy and it doesn't look like I'm going to find anywhere. But we'll see. Gone down a bit further, but still looking at it, there's not really anywhere that's suitable. It's too steep, this valley. So I'm going to have to go back, because the further I go down, the further I've got to walk up in the morning. So I don't want to have to go all the way down there, find something, and then walk right up this first thing in the morning. So I suppose I'm going to be going on the ridges tonight. Back up this, which is not a lot of fun. It's quite treacherous this, so I don't think it's a well-used route by any means. I ended up dozing off down there where the path was for about 15 minutes. The sun started to go down and it started to get a bit nippy. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. You can see I could have gone a long way down that valley before finding something nice to camp. And then I've had a long old walk up it first thing in the morning. Started to clear up even more now the sun's going down. I'm almost certain that's Caer Caradoc over there. I've been up it once a long time ago before I had kids. Somewhere I'd like to get to again at some point as well. But yeah, I'm trying to find somewhere to pitch up soonish. I think I'm gonna walk up that little hill there, and I reckon there'll be a flat bit up there somewhere that hopefully is nice and out of the way. I don't need too much room. I've just got my tarp. What I might do is look up the weather and see if it's in any way going to rain at all tonight, because it doesn't look like it. And maybe just sleep out in the bivvy bag if it feels a little bit too obvious putting up my tarp, but we'll see what it's like up here. Seems pretty remote and unwalked. It's just it's quite boggy, and whenever I see a flat spot it's boggy. Hopefully we'll find something soon. I'll catch up then. I think I've finally settled on a spot for now. It's not the greatest. It's obviously a bit of an animal hole. I have to kick a fair bit of poo aside. Just down there it's all boggy. There's a small patch here just about big enough for my tarp. It's a little soggy underfoot, but should be alright. I've got my bivvy bag with me. It's not the best place in the world, but it's not the worst. I don't think I can really be seen that easily by anyone. So I think I'll wait another hour or so when the sun's near enough down, and then I'm going to chuck my tent up, I think. Well, tarpaul it. Yeah, hopefully this will be alright for tonight. Not long wrap my tarp up. Bit of a gamble, but I can't imagine there's going to be many more people about, and you're going to struggle to see it where it's located and because of its colour, so hopefully it'll be alright for tonight. I've got my alarm set for like 5:30, so I'm going to get a really early start tomorrow, because I'm planning on walking quite a bit further than I've walked today. Weather-wise, looks like I might get a bit of rain tonight. Hard to say really. It's definitely cooling down a little bit, but it's nothing too bad. Don't think it's going to be frosty tonight. As you can see, it actually snowed a little bit overnight. It's bloody freezing. I'm gonna try and go back to sleep for another hour or so. I can't imagine it's gonna last too long. Yeah, I wasn't expecting snow this morning. Started falling last night, but I sort of thought it was just gonna be sleet. I've woken up and yeah, it's like this. Not a lot of it, but it is very cold. Well, as you can see, it's a little bit on the nippy side this morning. Had a bit of a dusting of snow. Not a lot of it, it's just like barely a couple of centimetres or so really. Luckily there's not a great deal of wind. It's only kind of a scattering, and you can see in the distance those hills didn't get any at all. It just seems to be here. So it's a little bit on the nippy side. Top seems to have held up well enough. Collapsed a little bit from the weight of the snow, but yeah, kind of a nice start to the morning, but not a nice start to the morning. I'm sure I'll still soon there. I'm sure I'll still warm up and get everything packed down and ready, and then get moving and warm up before I have some breakfast, I think. Yeah, didn't expect this, to be honest. They were just forecasting a little bit of drizzle, but I suppose I'm just about high enough to get a bit of snow, so at least I've actually seen some this year. Bit of a chilly start to the day, as you can see. There's the odd patch of snow here and there. None of it's very deep, and it's not sort of falling consistently. It's quite patchy. But I love this sort of weather, to be honest. It'd be nice if there wasn't any wind to it, but a bit of snow. First time I've seen any this year, probably the only chance I'm going to have had. So quite glad to have seen it. Heading in the general direction to the Stiper Stones now. Might spend the night camped up there, or depending on what time I get there, I might get the bus to Shrewsbury and head home fairly late on the train. But I'll see how I feel as the day goes on, really. I haven't made my mind up. My stuff didn't get too wet overnight, but there's a little bit of dampness where the snow blew in under the tarp and stuff. But nothing to worry about. So yeah, I'll probably update when I get a bit nearer to the Stiper Stones. Lovely start though. Up there in the distance, that's the Stiper Stones. That's where I'm heading now. As you can see, that seemed to escape any of the snow last night. Can't see any up there. There's some in the hills right in the distance there. I'm not sure what that's called. But yeah, I'm just walking straight down the road. Once I get down off the moors, I've got sort of an hour or so's walking around farmland and country lanes and stuff before I get there. But I expect I'm going to make pretty quick progress. But yeah, lovely start to the day. Shame about the wind. Once that goes, it's going to be nice and warm, I think. The snow's melting really, really quickly. But yeah, hell of a start to the day. Nice little pool there. There were a few ducks when I got up here, high altitude ducks, but they decided to fly off at the sight of me. Right there you got some little lambs. I bet they're a bit nippy this morning. But yes, it's still nice and early. I've got it all to myself for now, which is just how I like it. I'm hoping that it's going to be like this most of the way to the Stiper Stones. I haven't decided what I'm going to do when I get there. There is a bus, like I said earlier, or I might just walk back. I might even chance my arm at trying to hitchhike back to Church Stretton once I'm up on the moors, but we'll see. See how long it takes for me to get up there first. See what time it is then. I haven't really eaten yet, other than a couple of cereal bars. So give it another half hour or so, and then I'm going to tuck into some porridge, I think. Nearly off the Long Mynd now. Down the bottom of that valley. I'll be joining the road. As you can see, that's the sort of less open land that you've got in Shropshire. But you know, it's basically the Welsh Marches. It's one of the nicest parts of the country, I think. And not a great deal of people seem to come here. But yeah, I really recommend the West Midlands, Shropshire and around that part of it. It's really, really nice. It's a lot less open than Wales, but it's still got lots of nice patches of open land here and there, and it's just a really nice part of the world, I think. Definitely recommend, if you've never been here before, to take a visit. Church Stretton's a good base to sort of start a visit from. You're right at the bottom of it all. It's quite easy walking. I'd say even if you've got kids, it's not, you know, anything too dramatic. But yeah, I'll probably start recording again once I start walking up the Stones. You can see them in the distance, they're not too far away. I reckon it's going to take you back hour and a half, 2 hours to get there, something like that. But who knows? Not rushing myself. And there's the Long Mynd. That's where I came from this morning. So I've covered a fair bit of ground. I've only been going a couple of hours, but it's been mostly downhill. So yeah, there's the Long Mynd from the other side anyway. It's not as steep and dramatic from this side. It's a lot more rural. Yeah, not too much further now. Once I get up past this hill, I think there should be a car park in a bit, and then the path onto the Stones. Here we are then. Not long got off the road, and up ahead of us is the first of the Stones. There the rest. Still umming and ahhing over what I'm going to do. But I'm just going to kind of quickly walk the ridge and then come back. Really don't know. I'm not someone who necessarily plans a bang on itinerary unless I have to. So I'll probably get up here, have an early lunch, and then make my decision on a full stomach. As you can see, it's another lovely day. Considering it's a weekend, hardly anyone around. So yeah, this is still a good place to go if you like to get away from the big crowds like you get around Brecon Beacons and places like that. Okay, it's not as high and dramatic, but the solitude you get is worth that trade-off, I think. I've realised I've again recorded quite a lot of footage considering I've only been gone one day. I'm not sure whether or not it's best to do one big video or split it into two really when I get home. The last one ended up being just under half an hour, so I guess I'll see how I feel again when I get back. But it certainly does fly through the batteries when you're recording a lot, especially in this colder weather. So I'm going to have to be a bit more conservative from now on, so I don't want to run out of batteries. Might have to shout a bit because of the wind, but over in the distance there, that's all Wales. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too hazy to make out anything for sure. But you know, we're parallel with Mid Wales, so you know, I'm guessing vaguely in that direction is the Elan Valley and places that area of Wales. I don't think I can make out any of the Snowdonia from here. Well, I mean, you might be able to on a good day, but I'm not too sure what I'm looking at from here, to be honest, so I wouldn't like to say. Over there is Manstone Rock. This rock behind me doesn't seem to have a name. I decided to stop here and have a bite to eat because it's nice and out the wind here. There's a little area to sit down. So yeah, I'm gonna have my lunch, walk up to that one, maybe touch that trig point, see what it looks like getting up there. I think it's a trig point at the top anyway. And then time to make a decision after that.
This is from the top of Manstone. they think this is the highest point on the Stiper Stones. As you can see, it's a little bit of a scrabble to get to the top. It was a lot easier to get up from one side compared to the other. It was fairly busy, but you know, with the trig point on the top, I'm not surprised people want to get up there really.
I ended up making really good time going to the Stiper Stones and back, because it was mostly walking along a road. So I've made such good time. I'm only probably about 3 or 4 miles away from Church Stretton from here, and it's not quite 2 o'clock, so I'm just gonna walk through to Church Stretton tonight and get the train home. It's supposed to be colder tonight. Don't really fancy that, but yeah, as you can see, I'm just making my way back onto the Long Mynd now. Got a little bit more of going uphill, but once I've done that, it's pretty straightforward and not that long at all to the train station. I'm going to come back down a different way, not the valley with the waterfall, but yeah, I don't really see the point in camping out another night given the time it is, so maybe next time. Not long got back onto the Long Mynd proper. Hoping down in this dip or somewhere I'm going to find some water, because I'm really thirsty. There haven't been any to get anywhere, and it's just started raining a little bit. But yeah, making very good time anyway. As you can see, it's a proper path all the way, so it makes a big difference to how long it takes when you're walking along stuff like this. A little bit hard on the feet though, but I'll have everything. Just a load of hailstorms, but it seems to have blown over for now. The sun's out. Right there in the distance is Church Stretton. It's not that far at all really. I can get to the train station. Suddenly got really busy. There's lots and lots of DVers and stuff meandering about because it's Saturday. Hopefully as I go down here there'll be a few less people. Certainly near the top of it anyway. But yeah, I'm near enough finished now, so I might not get much more footage, if any. But it's been a good old holiday. Well, I wouldn't even call it that quick overnighter really. I've made ground so quick that it seems senseless to spend a second night up here. But I've enjoyed myself. It's nice to see the snow, that's for sure. But yeah, there might be a few more things to see on the way down. I'm not sure, it's been a while since I come down this way. This is a wet valley this, so when I go a bit further down there should be somewhere to get some water. As you can see, it's quite a steep valley going down. Path's well made, but there's some patches where it's a bit wet and slippy. But yeah, hopefully I won't have to get too much further down. I'll find some water I can pick up. I suppose actually I might be able to just walk to the shops. It's not that far really. See how I go. But yeah, very steep valley. Once you get to the bottom of this, you're back at the car park where the mill is and the National Trust tea room, and you're basically out of it. It's just started to rain again. Getting down to the bottom of the valley, you can see that big hill in the distance. That basically marks the end of it. As you can see, this side of the Long Mynd is very different to the other. All of the streams seem to run this way, and the valleys are much steeper and there's rocky outcrops and stuff. All in all, it's been a really good trip. The weather's been a little bit hit and miss, but nothing too bad. It's not too far to get to here, so I might well come back before too long and do some of the hills on the other side, like Caradoc and stuff, because I've not got around to doing that yet. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. I've got about another 45 minutes of walking down this. Looks a bit steep and wet and a bit horrible. And then to the train station, and hopefully I'll get home without too much problems. It is the weekend, so no doubt something will go wrong with engineering works.